Okay, good afternoon. So, where did we leave off? We left off last night setting up the completion of phase 1. Who all's out there today? Hello, cat? A cat with bears. So here's where phase 1 is grinding away, and as you can see in the upper right, I let it grind for a little while. It's already done. Because, you know, it's not a great stream, just sit there and let it run. That would be boring. So, let's go! We go into space. And the best part is, we can leave this line running for a while because the next phase uses it. I will tear all of this down later. And we get a new phase that uses steel. So, our objectives today: coal power, steel. And steel means our first factory that is actually a factory we're going to keep, as opposed to this mess, which we will not. This is going to go away. But maybe not today. This factory is going to be our support factory that's going to keep feeding us parts while we build other things. It'll get rebuilt eventually, but that's fine. What I'm trying to remember is I have all of these miner, smelters, constructors. What was I building? On the right-hand side, it's like, what was I building? Oh well, I'm sure I'll probably realize halfway through the stream what it was. Everything looks like it's running and in good order. Alright, let's clear this out, I guess. So, refined power. We got our first version of the photovoltaic cell. The photovoltaic cell requires a bit of processing to make it. Now, the first versions don't produce a whole lot of power, and they actually rely somewhat on things from the Awesome Shop in order to run. Or at least to run well, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But no, the thing that I really like here is the water turbine. I love hydroelectric. I've always thought that, you know, water and dams and making electricity that way was really cool. So, this is always going to be one of my favorites, but as you can see, this takes steel. If you're going to build something that's gonna stand up against the power of rushing water, you're gonna need steel. And so, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Refined Power also does this modular power generation thing. They're very big on this, and honestly, I can kind of see why, especially if you like being able to break down power generation into smaller bits. This has various stages where you can swap out the parts. Say, for example, you're starting off with biomass. You use a biomass heater to then use a boiler, fill it with water, the heater heats the boiler, you make steam, turn a turbine, make electricity. That's how making electricity works most of the time. But you move on from biomass to coal, you need a different heater. Well, guess what? You just swap out the part. The rest of the line can stay how it is. It's actually kind of a nice tool. If you're really up for a really complicated build, it's a nice tool. I'm not so much a fan of that. I'm not going to be making very many of these, although I'm sure you can find other YouTubers and Twitch streamers who do build this, because the challenge of it's fun. Not really my flavor. I'm probably going to give this a pass. But those water turbines, oh, we're going to be making some water turbines. You better believe it. Carbon refining. This is actually part of the photovoltaic cell process. You need things like coal to make carbon mesh, which is made from carbon dust, which is made from coal. So, coal, carbon dust, carbon mesh, photovoltaic cells. In fact, there's actually a couple of more steps in the process. This is a complicated process, and that is actually part of the balance of making the photovoltaic cells. We'll get to that a little later, and believe me, we are going to be building some solar power. But, like I said, the first few versions aren't that great. I may wait a little later until we get some of the nicer versions of the solar panels before we build them. This is where we're going to go next. Coal power. Now, I do prefer a more, I don't know, green setup, but we're going to need a little bit of coal power just to get by. It's mostly a stopgap to bridge the gap between building the biomass, which we've already done, and the hydroelectric that I just talked about. We need a little bit of something in between there. So we're going to need a little bit of coal power to get started. Eventually, we're going to phase out the coal power with the hydroelectric, as I will show you. I'm not a super fan of the vehicles in this game, except for the trains. I love trains. Why would I care about anything else when I have trains? Why do I care about this little tractor when I'm going to get trains? Serious question. Steel production. It's going to be our second focus after we get coal up. Need to be able to make steel. Steel is going to be big and important very soon. The Digby tool? That's not going to make any sense until we get modular load balancers, which are actually in tier 4. Why the Digby tool is in tier 3, I have no idea. But it's basically an expansion mod for the modular load balancers in tier 4. This, honestly, should be in tier 4. It shouldn't be in tier 3. But, whatever. Before we go anywhere, before we do anything, Pioneer must be able to defend herself against things that shoot her, or chew on her, or glomp her without her consent. Consent is very important. Makes a lewd innuendo to see if Cat's still there.
Milestone reached. R&D inflated your pocket dimension, added an additional hand equipment slot, and have provided an improved Xeno Zapper with increased strength and range.
Hey, I guess we don't need the old one now. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I forgot one of the most important steps. How could I have forgotten? The most important step. Color. I remember the old days when CRT monitors only had a few colors. And we thought it was so cool when they only had like 8 or 16 colors. I've always liked really bright colors. I like my superheroes with bright colored uniforms and not drab gray ones. Why am I saving all these colors? You will see. Much better. Much better. I'm not a fan of orange. About the only place I'm a fan of orange is on the lesbian flag. That's about it. Or the LGBT pride flag. It's fine there. See, the factory just looks so much better now, doesn't it? See? Much easier on the eyes, much more pleasant. Oh, yeah. That was something we were going to do. Actually, I knew I was going to do it. I didn't tell you. The actual reason for this second assembler over here that was doing nothing but making rips? Secret plan. My alignment's going to be a little skew-whiff, but there we go. Make me rips. Use them to make modular frames. All right. You know what I should do instead? I am popping in to say, have a good stream. I must pass out now. Sounds good. Have a good sleep. Self-care, Silver. Ah, much better. Oops. Yeah, I don't think this factory can produce 300 screws a minute. Let's do this. Why am I building the belt off the ground? Why am I not just laying it across the ground? I need to be able to walk under it. The one problem with laying all these things on the ground is you can't walk under it, which makes it really hard to get around the factory. You end up having to parkour over everything just to get around your factory. That's why I keep putting things up in the air. Also, as this bin perfectly demonstrates, sometimes things need to be underneath it. Sometimes there are belts going the other way. Sometimes there are vehicles that need to go underneath it. Maybe this is going over the trains. I don't know. Regardless, that's why I build stuff off the ground, wherever possible. That, and it's, you know, let the critters roam around underneath. Let them have their habitat. Electrical power would probably help. Right. I was going to do power poles, wasn't I? Well, one thing at a time. Let's get this going, making some frames. We can go do that. That's what the stuff on the checklist was for. That's what it was for. 3 miners, smelter, some constructors. About 3. Yeah, that's what that was for. Okay. Mystery solved. I love being forgetful. There we go. That should make frames. I'll check one thing on the man before we go. I think we have that. Yes. We also need to find us some plasma spitters and some hatchers. And just more aliens to murder in general. Violence. I wonder if we have 5 frames yet. As I failed a parkour over belt. Nah. We don't have nuts. We do have that, though, don't we? Yes, we do. Knocking out a little bit of the MAM before we go. Mostly as an excuse to give that assembler some time to make some frames. 200 screws. I should have that. I missed ladders. I'm going to have to get ladders. Sooner or later. I never used to use the parachutes back in Update 7 and before. It wasn't until they made them a reusable resource in Update 8. Alright. Gonna need a little cable, a little wire. Do we have 5 frames yet? We have 6. I can tell from the little sign on the end. Because it said 6. Again, I like things that give me information. They have absolutely zero effect on the game's balance. They just give the player information. This miner was running at 50% because it was using a Mark 1 belt. Now it has a Mark 2 belt. Should get up to 100% efficiency. I don't like that belt. Don't like it. Now I like it. Call me OCD if you want. Okay, here we go. Let's see. There we go. I see techno in there. Ah, then I hit refresh. Okay, cool. There we go. Now we're properly equipped. Let's go. Oh, and you know what? While we're at it, I can think ahead. Do we have enough material for that? There we go.
Milestone reached. Coal is an improved alternative power source to biomass and can be fully automated if provided water with the new pipeline buildings and power throughout the initial setup. Coal has been added to the resource scanner. Note: ensure the close proximity.
Thank you, Ava. Two of those, three of those. Thinking. Actually, yes, I'm gonna need like three of those. All right. Way back yesterday, I said I'd set up a production line for copper sheets, but we wouldn't need it until later. Now it's later. Now we need those copper sheets for making pipes. Make ourselves a portable miner. I'm just working on that checklist on the right-hand side. Here's what I'm thinking. 3 setups. I'm gonna do a very simple Caterium setup just for the sake of unlocking things like Mark II power poles. 2 quartz setups, 1 for silica, 1 for processed quartz. And then the 4th miner is going to go over to the coal, and we're going to set up some coal power plants. All of these are going to need power lines, which we're probably going to tear up immediately as soon as we're done with steel and have power towers. But need some power to get things started. Okay, here we go. So yeah, the theme for this video is going to be Tier 3. Another thing I want to do while we're at the Caterium is get a zipline. Zipline's going to be like the main form of transportation for the Pioneer before we get hypertubes and trains, which are often Tier 6? 5? I don't remember offhand. I'm gonna have to look. Might be as early as Tier 4. I don't remember. It'd have to be Tier 5 or 6. Anyway. I forgot power. I get so distracted about thinking about what tier it was, I forgot about the power. I love the North Forest. One of the reasons I build here is just pretty. I want to be around this, you know? I like the vibe. Between North Forest and the Spire Coast, the vibe is just immaculate. And I don't want to erase too much of it to industrialization. So I'm going to try to keep large portions of it intact. You'll do. I much prefer power towers for doing this, but, well, those require steel, so one thing at a time. I tend to call this the North Forest Road. This road here. Follow this for a bit till we get up to where the Caterium is. And then cut into the forest. Come on. Oop. About there-ish. And here we turn inland. Slug. Slug. Beam! Caterium. And look! That's bitter. Now remember, I'm on Retaliate. He can hit me back as soon as I hit him. But sometimes they just decide to run away instead. I don't know why this is. I think it has something to do with their critter AI. Murder scene investigation. There are 2 hogs, a yellow slug, and dead spoodlers everywhere. Nope. Free spoodlers, I guess. I could off these 2 hogs. But here's the thing. These 2 hogs sit there and kill spoodlers for you all during the game. And just leave the corpses for you to pick up. Those hogs may live. Continue to kill spoodlers for me. I'm gonna mine Caterium. My alignment was kind of bad there. Better. Nudge mode is your friend. Do-do-do-do-do. Begin to mine Caterium for me, please. In the meantime, I'm gonna need a little room to work. Ooh, look! Bauxite! Can't really use it until tier 7. Meh. Not really super interested in picking up bauxite. Have it crowding my inventory till tier 7. Ada is going to talk now.
New technologies can be developed based on this new, superconductive, gold-like element, primarily in power and electronics. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
And now I can continue. Caterium! I need 20 more. Hey, do you have 20 more? Yes, I have 30. There we go. Now we need ingots. That is what smelter is for. Tyrium ingots. Have my ore. Commence the mining. Oh. Power. I need 50. But there's the zip line. That's the thing I want. Do I want to wait here? ADD brain is like, no, I want to go ADD somewhere else. Wait, I picked up that yellow slug. ADHD. I'm easily distractible. Yellow slug, go. I'm probably gonna need to go back and get more cable. Yay! And now I can underclock. This takes 45. There we go. Also, let's get a workbench. Because I picked up spitter bits. There we go. How many do I need? 5. Do I have 50 yet? No. I will overclock you. Don't make me think I won't. Or I could just build 2 smelters. How ADD do I feel? ADHD. I'm still getting used to that. Oh, that alignment was terrible. Why? Nope, still bad. Better. Ah, no. Land. Thank you. I'm so impatient. Why did I clear all this space? For constructors. Obviously. See, that's 12 per minute. These guys output 15 per minute. So I'm trying to do limestone. $12 per minute. There we go. 2 running at 12 per minute, which is 36 Ethereum a minute, times 2 for a total of 72. Perfectly efficient. You're in my way. I will power my factory off of you. This is a threat. 50 for that, 100 for that, 100 for that. It's about 250. Taking you with me. Continuing our wandering. Cat, if you're still there. Yes, 12 times 2 is 24. Did I put the wrong number in? Did I mess my math up somewhere? Cat, if you're still there. I think you were still in the factory when I was running around doing all this on your save. Which we probably will continue on Friday, by the way. Bean! Oh, bean. Surrounded by beans. Somewhere down there is coal. That's fine. I'll deal with coal in a minute. Coming here first. So these two pure quartz nodes. The far northwest side of the North Forest. That's the rocky desert in the distance on the other side of this strait. There's 4 coal nodes there. These 2 quartz nodes, these are being deleted in 1.0. They will be gone. So, when 1.0 rolls around, we're going to be going elsewhere for our quartz needs. But 1.0 isn't here yet. I did it again. I did it again. Wandered away and forgot about power. The electrons must flow. Hello, Frank the Bean. How are you, Frank the Bean? All of the beans are named Frank. Don't ask me why. It just is. They're all Frank. Back on the North Forest Road. I see you, slug. But mostly, I see pigs. Piggy! Can I get up there? I don't have the quartz boots made yet. It's a bit iffy of a proposition. Apparently I can. Never know unless you try. Slug. Back on the North Forest Road. Have you made me 250 quick wire yet? 662. Not bad. You know, instead of parkouring that gap, I could just put the foundations back. But where's the fun in that? I ran out of cable. Because of course I did. But I just want a zip line. I will power my factory on you. Who am I kidding? As soon as I put coal up, it's probably going to mean the biomass generators go into reserve mode and don't burn anything. Right, I mentioned that last time. It was like, and then I never finished it. What's the difference between biomass burners and the other types of power generation? Biomass burners only burn what is needed to match the power needs of the moment. All other types of power generation work off a clock. X amount of fuel per unit time for Y amount of power per unit time. Biomass generators are adaptable. The rest, not so much. This applies to refined power as well. Only the biomass burners, or automated biomass burners, adapt to current power needs on the grid. Ada, we'll talk now.
This mineral shows purity levels akin to synthetic quartz manufactured on Earth and can be used to improve communication and exploration technologies. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
No kidding. As I've already knocked off like 2 or 3 of the beginning of the tree. Alright. The big one we're after here is Blade Runners. Run faster, jump higher. I see an alpha hog. I see you, alpha hog. Don't think I don't see you. Piggy! Piggy, 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 piggy. And hopefully that's enough animal remains to do that MAM entry. Piggy, 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 piggy. hog protein. What do I need for that again? Right, 5. I have 3 on hand, so 2 more. 1, 2. And rods. I need lots of rods. And cable, tons of cable. Okay. Yeah, so we don't really need this anymore. Are you making? Yes, you're making. Gonna take advantage of these quartz nodes while they still last. Oops, wrong one. It's all gonna become irrelevant once 1.0 hits. And now I'm going to wander off. Wait, do I have enough silica? I have no idea. We'll find out later. Very, very quiet. I'm hunting plasma spitters. I noticed the little, like, lines coming off it. Which is basically the game's way of saying, hey, there's a slug in here. Doggo? Doggo, 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 doggo. Doggo, 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 doggo. I don't know why I'm bothering. You'll just bring me nuclear waste. But I can't see none of that face. Doggo. You see it? You see it? The little blue lines. There's a blue slug in there. Who needs explosives when you can just apparently teleport through rocks? Piggy. You didn't see that, did you? They're not very bright. They're definitely not the top of the food chain. Cliff hogs, however. Oh, and rad hogs. Oof. They might be. I've seen nuclear hogs fight poison spitters. Nuclear hog wins! Flawless victory! is, mostly it's just they have way more health. On this playthrough, we haven't met the giant hogs yet. That's for later. Yeah, there was enough silica. We just need some frames. Good thing I have something back at base making those. It's almost like I thought ahead. Need steel, okay. You need cable. You need ammunition. Okay, I think we're about done here. Time to go off to coal. Eh, who am I kidding? We don't have enough parts for coal. Yeah, we're gonna have to drop by base for a hot minute. Pick up some rotors and just a ton of cable. And maybe drop off all this plant biomatter that I've been picking up. Anyone still out there? This furry god. I don't know when they followed. I do like a furry. But the question is, this furry got what? For reference, I'm looking at the followers, the most recent followers. I didn't see the notification for that one, so I don't know when it happened. Okay, I don't think we need cloth for a while. Or shrooms. Alright, I need some of this. $82. Not bad. I need those. And some cable. Some rotors. Two, three, four, five. Should be about 1,000 cable. Watch that be nowhere near enough. Just watch. Screws. I need screws. Yeah, look at that. That right there is 1,000 cable. Oof. And I take an extra stack just so that I have some. As soon as I push that button, it's all going away. Yoink. Steal from my own machines, it's fine. This is why I have conveyor belts. And that takes steel. Well, not belts. Okay. Now, let's see. Rebar gun. Ranged weapons. Need some rippers, some rotors, and more screws. Because of course I need more screws. Why wouldn't I just need a constant supply of screws? You know what? I'm just gonna take all of those. I should check and see how much we need for smart splitters. Smart splitters would be real useful right about now. Caterium. Smart splitters. 10 AI limiters. And I did unlock AI limiters. Do I have the stuff to make them, though? I do. These are so useful. You have no idea. Actually, I'm sure some of you might know. Anyway. Hey. Logistics, smart splitter, I need an AIs. There we go. And what I'm gonna do... So there's a belt here. This guy's making rippers. It's almost full. I don't want this machine to go idle. I want it to keep making rippers. But it's going to stop because the belt is backing up. Because those rippers are going to be real useful once we start building the steel factory. So, smart splitter. Forged iron plates. Overflow. Any overflow, anytime this belt attempts to back up, you're not real. There it goes. See? The belt is full. So, anything else, anything extraneous, any overflow goes into that bin. I have a bin for more rips. You're not real. There's a bug right now, and there has been since update 8, where sometimes things appear on belts that aren't real. You can tell because they don't move. Ah. Now that real ones have actually come out, I can tell because I can press E to pick them up if I want. The fake one disappears. Alright, let's do a little check. Grab a little concrete. We're gonna need that. Plates were decent. I have two things that I want to make at the equipment shed before we leave. I want to make a rebar gun and a zipline. Okay. That's the zipline and the rebar gun. Ranged weapon. And there's my zipline. One thing I should probably do before we head out. Make some ammo for the rebar gun. I'm just going to let that build. Okay. Anything else while we're still back at camp? That takes steel. That takes steel. We don't have any of those. Still haven't found a purple slug yet. That we could do. Speaking of equipment. I'm gonna get 3 pieces of equipment done during this stop at base. At least high enough to get on top of a 4-meter foundation. Not bad. That's refineries. Did we actually finish making any? Let's check. 23. I'll take it. Rebar for the rebar gun. There we go. I think that's about as much of that as we can do for now. Let's go build some coal power. Shall we? Yeah, let's go for a walk. Or better yet, let's go for a ride. Come on. Oh. I missed. I clipped right through that power pole. Hello, Frank the Bean. Oh, I couldn't take another stack. Oh, sure, yes, I could take another stack to acquire. Why not? Come on. Okay, fine. I was going way too fast to re-grab the line. Ooh. That's not good. Why would that be? We over-amped ourselves. Okay. 14 biomass burners. Didn't get us all the way to coal. Because we're gonna need that power up and running to finish this. I'm kind of sort of hoping that it's just the wind going down. It'll come back up if I give it a minute and the wind to come back up. It looks like the wind is coming up. It just hasn't come up fully yet. I need to get this coal going. Remember what I said about needing a stopgap? This is what I was talking about. Especially when I bring the steel plant online. Oh man. Biomass burners, just, they ain't gonna cover it. I mean, you need some coal power going. Even trying to do a fully green run, you'd wind up just tons and tons of biomass burners. And then making a dead run to hydroelectric. Just to try and get by. Because there's a sort of this gap right in between the two. Higgy. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. The wind is still not really picked back up. It could break again in any moment. Yep, yep, yep. There it goes. Thing you need the power. Actually, let's be smart about this. One or two wind turbines is not going to fix this. Unless it does and proves me wrong. No. One or two wind turbines is not going to fix this. All right. We need the power running for two things here. We need it to run the water pumps to get the water up here, and the miner to get the coal out of the ground. Now, footnote. This coal node, right here, is one of the ones going away in 1.0. This coal node will not be here. And from what I saw on the developer streams, the four that are just right across the water here in the Rocky Desert, just right up there, are being reduced from normal to impure. So the whole area is getting a coal nerf. They didn't talk about the nerf on the coal. Oh! Why, hello there, Azure. It's an Azure. You've never actually said hello here before. Hi. How was your day? My internet is working and well, that's good. Did it go down? What happened? Tell us about it. What happened to your internet? Is it particularly stormy where you are? Huh. What kind of weird noise was it making? The network engineer part of me wants to know. Not really stormy here, which is weird. It's been going down during sunlight hours. Didn't say a whole lot about the noise, more frequency kind and less audible kind. Huh. Okay, so like line noise. Is this a DSL connection or a cable connection? That's usually an indication of faulty equipment. Trying to do this without falling off into the water. Cat no like swim. Okay. Yeah. Usually if the noise on the line is causing issues, something's wrong with the box. Because it's got filters in place to filter that kind of crap out. Yeah. Another biomass burner brought it up. Okay. Which means I have 70 logs to get this back up. Or not. I need to get the full working. I need to stop looking at it and just get it done. So are you home from work then, Azure? Oh. I did a terrible job there. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Nice right-hand turns. Water. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Which one did you get back? Come on, I just need you to run for a minute. Modern. Because, you know, this is supposed to be like sort of a cyber techy near future kind of setting, so yeah. The problem is max consume is currently 422 and the current capacity is 379. I just need to get it working for a few minutes. Biggie. I will take out my frustrations on you. Construct additional pylons. The funny thing is, it's like, yeah, refined power, infinite power. Yeah, about that. This is your infinite power at work. I'm sitting here running around and gathering sticks and leaves to try and get the power up for a few minutes because my infinite power isn't holding up. Yeah, how's that that infinite power? Right. Okay. It's up. I had to add 3 biomass burners, but it's up. For how long? Not long. Yeah, limited power. Emphasis on limited. Ooh. We got water in the pipes. That's a good sign. Wind power. Not enough wind. Oh. Are our coal power plant coming up yet? No connection. Oops. Gee, that might help. And then I run out of cable again. This is what we call a comedy of errors. There, look at that. Look at that. See that big spike in production there at the top? That's the coal coming online. As I remember to wire it. All right. We're now producing 700. We only need to have a max consumed at about 400. I think we're good now. Pick my factory up and put it back in my pocket. You don't even need to be a Mark II coal anymore. Here, go back to being a Mark I coal. See? All better now. Now that the coal is finally kicked off. Yeah. That'll get us by for a little bit. We might want to put up another coal setup before we bring the steel plant online, because that's going to chew a lot of power. Duggo! This is when he brings me nuclear waste. A Sama ore? Really? What is it with me and doggos? That item is literally useless. I cannot do a damn thing with that. This is not used. Work in progress. Bin. I'm just batting nothing for doggos in this run. Nothing. Yeah, Azure, you would have loved it. The very first dog I tame in this run, very first thing he brings me, does he bring me an animal corpse or something interesting? No, he brings me a nuclear waste immediately. No preamble, just nuclear waste in your face, tier 1. I'm just like, So, what's going on with Pizza Mafia? Whose art got done first? Or rather, I guess I should say what art got done that you mentioned earlier. Ah, very good. I mean, would you like more Gaia reference art? I'm pretty sure you know what she looks like. You played 14. Very good, very good, very good. Alex's stand. I don't know what this means. Stand? I get the JoJo reference, but what does Stan have to do with Alex? I never did the raid. Near the end of Endwalker, was waiting for her to show up. Okay, Gaia was in Shadowbringer's raid. The 8-man. Eden. The 8-man raid in Endwalker was... Oh, okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Well, next thing on the agenda. Steel time, baby! Can I interest you in some pork? That's oil. That's oil and steel. That's steel. Oil and steel and manufacturers. Okay, yeah. Not doing that. That's steel. That's steel. That's refineries and oil. Haven't found any of those. Steel. Haven't found a purple slug yet. I'll go back and deal with those next time we go back to the quartz nodes. And steel. Yeah, we're good. We're caught up. Okay. Let me grab something real quick. Gonna test something real quick. Here we go. So, let's talk about steel for a minute. This is sort of what I was thinking in terms of steel. 160 pipes, 120 steel beams per minute. Going to use the solid steel ingot recipe because it happens to be one of my favorites in terms of just raw, let's go and make some steel, because it's pretty efficient. 2 normal coal nodes, totaling about 480 a minute on Mark III miners. And same thing with iron. So put a pin in that. We only have Mark I miners right now, so it's not going to be perfectly efficient, obviously, but that's the goal. That's sort of the forward-thinking objective. This is hardly what I would call perfect end game, but it's thinking ahead just enough. But this is what we're going to build. So, let's get started with some smelters, some foundries, and some constructors. There we go. Oop, no. That button there. Okay. All right. Let's see now. Whoa. Gonna need to start by unlocking it first, I guess. I'm gonna need a lot of the rips. A lot of rips for this. And it looks like some wire. We're out. Yeah, some wire. Okay. This is also why I wanted that bypass in there to collect rips. Gonna need them. Okay.
Milestone reached. Steel production unlocked. Foundry grants access to new, simple steel parts. An additional project part can now be constructed. Progress to the next phase is now possible.
Possible. But we're gonna need a lot of steel production to get to that point. So let's clear out our current build list and think about this. So I start with 12 foundries, 12 smelters feeding that, and 12 constructors to start to get things going. Now, we're going to need 3 miners, 2 for coal, 1 for iron, and I'm thinking we may also want to bring the parts for a spare coal start. So, an additional miner, 2 water extractors, 4 coal jennies. Okay. Let's start gathering that part list, just to start. Because steel's going to be a big deal. Steel's one of the big things we need to move forward. It's a break point, as my friend Line Noise would say. Not enough frames, need cable, and need a miner unit. Don't look at me. Two, 4, 6, 8. That picture looks like Alex, like, opening a black hole or something. I thought Alex's... I just thought Alex's power was, like, disguise. Is this, like, his new one? Bringing some spares just in case. Can't really do anything until I've got enough frames. Suppose I can make them by hand, but... It's about... I'm guessing... Is this a power he hasn't demoed, or is it just him being weird? Okay. I've been going for about 2 hours. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 10-minute self-care break and then come back to it and do the steel plant. And again, first real factory that we're going to keep. So, break time. Be right back. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I think at this point I'll just make the rest of the frames myself. The current plan, build the steel factory, and then we're going to start the Megaplex. Megaplex is going to be a big distribution center for all kinds of parts, and that's where we're going to make the space elevator parts. Need to bring the steel in, bring in all the other parts. Get everything together in one place. I get to show you how I do that. That'll do. Okay. Empty my bag just a little bit. The ammo that I had set to make last time. Oh, and while we're at it, since we're now building the steel, I'm gonna grab all of these. All of these. And all of these. Because boy, Oli, are we gonna need them. Big. Yes, big. There's this idea in the Satisfactory community that you either build small satellite factories or big megaplexes. And I'm like, this is a false choice. Why can't I do both? ¿Por qué no los dos? Embrace the power of and. I'm gonna do both. And I have a single megaplex that is basically serves as a distribution center. Also handles space elevator parts. The idea there is if I need any parts for a factory that I'm building or anything, the main facility at Spire Coast has it. I need parts, I go to Spire Coast. It also has the main hub of the railway network, and then all of the rail lines will act as spokes coming off of it. A central point of management. Since, you know, I'm only one pioneer. It's also gonna move the hub. Put the hub there. And yeah, the hub, space elevator. Man's gonna be there. Probably the awesome store. Pretty much everything that I'm going to need. But we need steel to get it built. Because the Megaplex is going to be built on Mark III belts. Mark III belts require steel. Reason for this is just so that I have a baseline. A baseline of Mark III belts. Bump. Why can't I build on the alien? Won't you let me build on the alien? Ah. And this is why I wanted the ranged weapon before I came out here. Also, nuts. Finally get some nuts. On nuts, it's nuts. Pioneer's work is never done. I feel like the maid just cleaned up this mess. Keep it clean for 10 minutes. Nope, 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 nope. Why did I fly upwards? Oh yeah, I hate those things. They're much more manageable with the gun. They're called hatchers, by the way. But yeah, here we go. Full nodes. There's like 4 normals. They're being stealth nerfed to impure, according to Coffee Stain's little worksheets. Y'all are on retaliate. You should be hitting me back. Why are you not? This is going to be an ongoing theme. Got one of them. Got him. Missed. We finally found hatchers. Oh, yay. Awesome. Thank you. We finally get access to an inhaler. Because we also finally found nuts. Oh, nuts. I'm just doing this to consolidate bag space. I don't know why I'm bothering. I force have it. All right. Pure iron node. As far as I know, this is not getting nerfed in 1.0. My poor core is failing me. Okay. How good a job did I do there? I'm holding down control so that it'll be on the world grid. Because the world grid is that right there. It's a little skew from the miner though. Just a little skew. Whatever. It's not like the miner needs to be aligned perfectly. It might bug me later. We'll see. First thing a factory needs, layer of foundations. This is why I have infinite zoo. Immensely for this, right here. That and windows. So, logistic planning. Let's have this row, foundations, be reserved strictly for belts. And anything going against the wall. In fact, actually, no belts. Just, that's a walkway. First row, actual belts here. So I'm thinking, let's put the first smelter, like, here-ish. So we're gonna need some space for belts and splitters. If Kat was here, Kat would be like, oh, I recognize what you're doing. Yes, I'm doing the same thing. Eyeballing it. Don't like I'm not getting a line there. There we go. That's what I want. Now I know it's aligned. Iron ingots. Solid steel ingots. Founders time. The other big thing we're gonna get out of steel is we're gonna get blueprints. That's the other big thing that I'm really waiting on. Blueprints make building everything that follows much easier. This is gonna be the first and only factory that I build without blueprinting. It's going to be entirely by hand. But one of the things that I'm going to make sure we do before we build another factory, besides unlocking trains, is unlocking blueprints. So that makes everything so much better. In fact, one of the things I'm going to do partway through is I'm going to tear this down and rebuild it. Except for maybe the foundries. The foundries themselves may stay in place. Who am I kidding? I'm just going to tear everything down and rebuild it. Which is funny, because I said earlier this is the first factory I'm not going to rebuild. Well, that's not technically true. I do rebuild it a couple of times. It's just, it gets put back pretty much in the same place. It just gets made more efficient each time. It's still a steel mill. It still works off of, you know, these coal and iron nodes every time. Its purpose doesn't change or get added to. It just keeps being a steel mill. I just make it better and better. Just isn't satisfactory unless you rebuild it a few times, right? Why am I leaving a big gap? Mostly for modular load balancers later. What's the output on these guys? 30 minute, of course. It's iron. Hey, Malk! I felt that soul. That sigh in my soul, lol. How's it going? How is the Just Human going, Malk? So I saw you were on earlier when I was getting ready. Yeah, the main... Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Glad it's going well. I built all of those in Mark 1 belts, but it's like, no, I need those plates. I need those plates for everything. I need the plates from building foundations to making splitters. That's why I brought all of these, the rippers for making the Mark 2 belts. I just got in the habit the last couple of days of just making everything out of Mark 1 belts. All right, let's see. Alignment. Let's go about dead center on this foundation. Actually, no. Need it back just a bit. So let's go. Right on that foundation line. Okay. That live. So Monday, not this most recent Monday, but Monday from the week before, I managed to wipe out while doing my exercise routine and really fucked my knee up, and it's been hurting today. I don't know, I just slept on it weird. So I've been dealing with that. Current plan I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow because Thursdays I've got other stuff going on. But Friday, there will be the multi-stream with Kat. Yeah. Friday is going to be the multi-stream with Kat, and we play tabletop on Friday afternoon. So, 2 things going on Friday. Probably going to be continuing Contract, because that's the tabletop that we've been doing. Been having a lot of fun with that. And that's sort of the plan right now. I'm going to get rid of this extra row of foundations, because unfortunately I need the walkway. Going up to the factory there. There we go. Alright, let's do this properly. Bottom splitter is going to be iron. Top splitter is going to be coal. Perfect right angles, at least on the iron. The coal are up in the air. A lot harder to do the right turns there. But when I tear this down, I have a plan for how I'm going to make those neat. Just needs to get me by for a little while. Till I get modular load balancers unlocked, and then I load balance this entire place. The fun thing is, there's basically no mods being used here. Almost none. This is very vanilla, what I'm doing right now. This is so vanilla that silver will have nothing to do with it. And silver is asleep, and will probably never hear me say that. And now I'm comparing, like, vanilla Satisfactory to, Alright. And I step off the platform immediately, because yay! Okay. One, two, three, four. That was my alignment. Does that look like a perfect right-hand turn? It does. Okay. Perfect 90 degree turns. Everywhere I can. 2, 3, 4. No, 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 no. There we go. Okay. Perfectly splitting up the available resources. Check my math, check my work. Okay. Yeah, I knew there was going to be something about that miner's positioning that would throw me off. I knew it was going to happen. And once I get steel up and running, I can build the blue printer. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could use a mod that lets me get the blue printer up in here sooner, but I guess I'm just not that into blueprints. It's like, they're useful, I like them, but not enough to use a mod to get them early. And believe me, I know the mods exist, it's just not my cup of tea. Because if you think about it, Blue Printer already unlocks pretty early. It unlocks, like, tier 4. It's not that bad. And they're making it even sooner with 1.0. They've said this. How many factories am I building before then? I mean, the steel plant, that's about it. And the steel plant I can pretty much just do from memory. At least this one. It's not like I really need the blue printer right now. I really need the blue printer on any of the later ones, though. Oh, man. I just never really... Like, I've had the option, but I just never really felt the need to really, you know, get the blue printer early. In fact, I feel more interest in, like, using a mod to get the Christmas event just so I can build that factory than needing to get the blue printer early. And yes, the Fixmas all year round mod, that exists. Two, three, four. Count out my work. I've actually thought a couple of times, it's like, for a heavily modded playthrough, I'm not using a whole lot of mods right now. And you're right. I'm not. That's the secret, Captain. I don't need a lot of mods for a lot of things. But that's also like, it's the early half of the game. The first half is, I don't know, pretty vanilla. It is what it is. If I wanted to jump into this game already at like trains or something, I can do that with the advanced save options and just skip right to like trains or whatever. I don't want to do that. The first half of the game is fine for what it is. I should hook up the power. I don't have the sockets. Annoys me. And all of their lights come on. You can see they all have power now. These things don't have recipes. Game is so quiet when the music stops. Feels so weird. Fun fact about the mod system in this game. There's no hooks right now to do anything with the music. They've actually said this on the live streams. It's like, this is something that they need to do, is give you a hook to send commands to the like the music system. Because I would actually really like it if I could get a mod that's like, don't give me these quiet bits, actually play the music, please. But whatever. As Melk said, that's sigh. That's sigh. I'm hoping eventually they'll give us the support so that we can do that. That moment when you just watch it start up, you know? When everything starts coming online. Of course, right now everything's in Mark II belts. Everything's slow. Gimme. With the stealth nerf to the coal here, and I call it a stealth nerf because they didn't actually talk about it on the stream. The only reason I know they're reducing these from normals to impures is because I wouldn't looked at their spreadsheets that they uploaded. They're the maps that Coffee Stain Studios put up. All 4 of these become impure, which means to run this same factory in 1.0, I'm going to need to use all 4 instead of just 2. Which is going to cause interesting problems for early game power, because of course I'm using at least 1 for power right now. Something I've thought about is for 1.0 I may go up to the top of the hill up there to the Crater Lakes, because there's like 3 pure coal nodes up there. And as far as I can tell, they're not messing with those. So maybe I'll put some coal power up there in the early game, so that I can keep using these for steel. I don't know. I have to see how I feel come 1.0. In the meantime, and another thing I want right now that I don't have, the conveyor lift floor holes. Once the smart plating's done building, I'm gonna put an awesome sink on that. Just let it keep running and just start feeding it directly into the awesome sink, mostly for the tickets. Because there are a few things I just can't live without, and the conveyor lift floor holes are one of them. Steal some iron ingots here. Just gonna borrow this, put it back later. Just need some iron plates. This is what we call living off the land. Not having to make the long run back to the base to get parts. Just working with what you've got here, you know? Hopefully without too much beating on the crafting table. So how's it going? I don't really need to put a first splitter on the coal. The coal's already split between two miners. Oh. And then I run out of materials. Okay. Ready for a game tomorrow if it happens. Otherwise, I'm going to try steaming veggies tomorrow. Just to have steamed veggies or for a particular recipe? You making something? And what veggies you steaming? Ah, fun. What sauce? And there we go. Completely out. Basically, I'm going to need to go back to the factory and get, like, a ton more ribs. Ah! I do like me a good Alfredo. One of my favorite recipes is actually something that my spouse does, which is basically rotini, chicken, and broccoli with an Alfredo sauce. It's heavy, but I really enjoy it. Most of the foods I really love are heavy. Missed. It's one of the few things that I did actually get from my childhood growing up that is actually a good thing, I think. Was just, you know, good food at the end of the day. Now, mind you, qualifier, my mother was a lousy cook. A whole bunch of rips. We'll see how far that gets me. So, Pyrostyle, tell me about what power did Alex take? Missed. Oop. Pumped off the pole. piggies. Killing the spoodlers. Free spoodler bits. Come on. There we go. How is healing spooky? No, come on. I hate doing this before power towers. Power towers makes this so much easier. But it's the fastest way around at this point. Stop. Just stop. Healing himself and others, or just himself? Do you have a specific goal for, like, where he's going? Like, what he's turning into? Ah, look, it's Frank the Bean. I don't know. What's sort of thematic about... What's the through line between, you know, disguise and self-heal? Since you mentioned keeping it thematic. That power pull, I put it right in the way. Here we go. What happened to the other one? It was working. Oh, just slow. Okay. Slow belts are slow. Slow belts is slow. Why did I do that? Checking my counting. See, when I designed Michelle, Asher, I went in with an idea in mind, what she's turning into. And I've tried to keep her on that theme. It's like, she had an idea going in, what she wanted. Milk's still out there? A weird fleshy aesthetic. Gotcha. Sort of sounds like he's like turning himself into his own monster. Anyway. It's like some people, I think, when presented with the decision, are like, I have no idea. I wouldn't want to be anything else than what I am. So I'm just making myself more like me. But then you have some people like Michelle who come along. It's like they have an idea exactly what they would want to be, given the choice. And I think that's sort of a furry community kind of idea, you know? Making sure I didn't flub that. Put the wrong part on the wrong belt. What are you going to be? Better. Like, there's an entire subculture within furry along that line, which is just, you know, becoming more like yourself, essentially. Plates. Plates, 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 plates. I don't know why I didn't think to pick up plates. I'm still endlessly amused that from Monday's game, nobody asked. Well, I was slow there. Plates. Do I want to go back and just get plates? That's true. That is very true. In fact, it might be one of those things where maybe starting on Friday's tabletop session, give Alex and Nikolai a chance to go like, hey, wait a minute, you said a thing that was weird. One, two, three. Plates. Yeah, I'm debating going back, getting more plates. Like, doing fun and mysterious things in a tabletop game, it's fun, but only when the other characters actually, like, notice, and it causes interaction. Perfect right-hand turn. There we go. And I've run out of plates. Trying to line it up with the other one so that it doesn't look too scattywampus. Alright. Sit back and let it build. It's nowhere near optimal right now. I feel like I just need the load balancers to actually make it optimal, but at that point I'm just going to tear it all down. Rebuild it. I said it was the first one I wasn't going to tear down. I lied! Satisfactory. Couple of major goals here now. We've got steel producing. I need power towers. It's my primary way of getting around. If you look over there, you see those two quartz nodes in the distance. Right there on the cliff. Overlooking what is the game's terms is called the Desert Trench, I think it is. I'd have to check. Desert Canyon. That was a Desert Canyon. It's this big canyon between Spire Coast and North Forest. It's also got 4 pure iron nodes and 2 pure copper nodes right there. Right next to those 2 pure quartz that are going to go away at 1.0, as well as 2 pure limestone nodes. That's where I'm going to build a megaplex. Kind of don't want to do it without a little bit of awesome shop tickets, though. I don't like the standard foundations. I want to change that. You know what? Let's do that. Take some steel back with us. Yeah, I should also check. See how our power is doing now that that factory's up and running. Not bad, actually. When I do the power towers, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. Blarg. Ooh. Hello. Oh. More Samor. I have not gotten a single useful thing from the doggos on stream so far in this entire play series so far. Nuclear waste and 2 Samors. I should do a supercut of this. I'm always super nice to the doggos, too. I don't, say, for example, load up the lizard doggos with giant stacks of nuclear waste and then throw them into a basketball pit. I know some Satisfactory players do that. I don't do that. I treat my lizard doggos nice. Why are they so mean to me? And people wonder why I don't do lizard doggo farming. This is why. Hmm. I kind of want to look something up now. What's worth more awesome shop points? Smart plating or its component parts? I'm going to look this up. Sync points is 520 on smart plating. Reinforced iron plate is 120. Rotor's 140. Yep, I think that's what we're gonna do. Goodbye! not super worried about the rest of the smart plating. The rest of the smart plating we can easily finish off when we get the new factory up and running that is specifically for doing space elevator parts. Now, let's look at Tier 4 for a second. Logistics Mark III for Tier 3 belts and power towers. And I'm going to be completely honest. The thing I want the most right now is those power towers. Mostly for the ease of getting around. They're also going to play an important part in building the hydroelectric system. In that the power towers are mostly how we're getting out there. What do I mean by that? You will see this. Spoilers.
Milestone reached. Pioneers can now store excess power for later use and span power lines across vast distances. Stored power is automatically distributed in cases of low power output. You've got the power.
Production 300, 400, capacity 700, max consumed 760. Don't like that. Mostly because I don't have any backup right now. The biofuel logs run out. Like, these aren't real. There's 200 spare logs in the burners. And some of the ones down here waiting on the belts are real. But that's sort of the end of the backup. I'm thinking of going back to my original plan and putting down another coal thing. As it a stepstone. Work on getting the big factory made, and then hydroelectric. So the coal is just a stepping stone to the hydroelectric. So plan on building another coal power plant. Looks like we've got the stuff on hand. While we're at it, let's make use of this trip. Power towers. I really like the addition of the power towers. When they first announced them, I was sort of like, so they're power poles but bigger? Then I found out more about how they worked, and I'm like, okay, I'm down with this idea. I'm down with this. And it's not even for the main use. Not for the primary use case at all. Running power? I can do that with power poles. No, I have another use case here. Zip lining. I like power towers for zip lining. Checking my work. See this tree? There's a tree right in the middle of it. That's what I wanted to avoid. Bonk. Maybe instead of going overland, cutting through the forest, let's follow the road. Following the road means less likely to hit a tree. It's a longer path, but you're ziplining. Who cares? Lego. Lego my ego. And yes, we'll also run power with them. But it's almost a secondary use case at this point. Sure that didn't hit a tree. Can't tell. I guess not. Okay. For some reason, trees above a certain height stop being real. In terms of... Oops. Ah. In terms of being on a zip line, above a certain height, the tree just... You can see it, but it's not actually physically there. It has no collision. Eventually, I'll replace all of this with hypertubes. But for now... At these sort of lower tiers, my primary way of getting around and exploring the world is power towers. End of the steel. Well, it's a good thing I'm near a steel plant. In fact, one of the things I absolutely will do is when I'm running around the world, and I'm going to put down a new factory, the first thing I will do is run the power tower out there, so I have some power to start with. Either that or a train. Both carry power. All right. See if I can get back without having to put my actual hand on the mouse. That's so weird. Apparently I just clipped through that tree. Can't tell if that wire goes through a tree or not. If it does, I'll come back and reposition the tower. I also want to come through and remove the old power lines. They bug me.
Milestone reached. Logistics can be improved with a larger storage container and enhanced conveyor belt efficiency.
There's the blueprinter. As well as the modular load balancers. But the thing is, we're going to need motors for that. I don't think I'm going to build motors here, though. So that's going to take steel, particularly for the stators. So that's going to take place at the new factory that we build probably next time we meet. So, what I'm thinking... Last 30 minutes here. Let's put up another coal assembly. I think we can knock out some of these. Specifically another coal power plant. Because I'm not hyper confident of the situation with the power right now. Yeah. I'm just looking at that thinking, eventually the biomass burners are going to run out. Mostly because I don't have Azure here, like, collecting all of the forest for me. On cat, like I do on Cat's save. Oh, I was gonna cut. That's right, I was gonna do that. If I've done this right, the power tower should just take over. Big power drop. That's because I just disconnected coal. Which means the biomass burners took over. That's not gonna last. They have 200 logs. And then nothing. Oh, there's the wind turbines. But like I said repeatedly last time, they're not a good replacement. At least these early ones, they don't work that well. They don't produce that much. There you go. Consuming 400, production 420. Let's put up that other coal plant. Gonna need it. We can go full green later. But as so often happens in the real world, you have a shortfall and you need to make up for it somewhere. That took the entire steel plant offline, by the way. You can tell because if you look over there, all the power poles and the machines are all status red. Come on. Mounting ladders is hard, apparently. There it goes. Back up and running. There we go. And this power tower is going to support this little coal plant. Also gives me a great vantage point. No huge mystery here. I'm building this exactly like the one we did up there. $60 coal a minute. Here we go. Sure, I could build these bigger. I could make these a lot bigger. I need to ramp up what the miners can mine and what the water collectors can collect. But because of modular power, I don't really need to do that. I'm going to have hydroelectric coming online. Basically, just as soon as I build enough of a facility to do that. It's going to take a lot of wire, a lot of wire, a lot of wire. This time I'm gonna not be dumb like last time and actually connect it to power first. Since that's the thing I forgot last time. Tee-hee! I can hear the water collectors and the coal burners from the one on the cliff nearby. The good news is I don't have to pump the water nearly as high. Over there, I had to pump it up the cliff. Here, not so much. Which means less pumps. There is something just oddly satisfying about the water collectors spinning up. There are a few times in this game where I just love the sound something makes. Most actions in this game are very, like, there's a lot of audio feedback to every action you do, but some of the sounds are just very satisfying for me to listen to. And this might be on an autism level, I don't know. But it's like the spinning up of the water collectors, the sound that the particle accelerators make when we get there. Tier 8. Also another very pleasant sound for me. Let's not clip the pipe, please. Thank you. And at least this time the power is up and stable, so we don't have to fight it to get it up and working. So, there's that. I've also got one more coal node over here. Which is actually that one right there. Which I could use. Hoping I'm not gonna need to get over to hydroelectric. We'll see. I'm hearing the coal jetting start to come on. There we go. See, the orange line is now separated from the dark gray line. Consumed is about 400, and our production just increased to about 600. I'm ignoring the light gray capacity because some of that is the biomass burners and also some of that is the wind turbines, which goes up and down. Not a reliable number to look at right now. So we're ignoring that number. The only three numbers that matters, the orange number, the dark gray number, and the max that we could possibly consume at this point, which is still a bit uncomfortably high, but we're not actually pulling that much at a given time. Probably because a bunch of the stuff back at base isn't actually running. It's probably backed up. Now, if I put an awesome sync on all of that, oh boy, you better believe it's all going to start running. So if I'm going to do that, I should probably either get the hydroelectric up and running or tap that last coal node for coal power. I'd rather do the hydroelectric. Hello, Frank. Frank the Bean. All of the beans are named Frank. Don't ask me why this is. It just is. All the beans are Frank. And I think that's where we're going to wrap. Get back to base and figure out who we're going to raid tonight. Let's see who's around. Is LeBeau still on? No, LeBeau's no longer on. Cody's playing Satisfactory right now. Unless anybody has a better idea, I might do that. But let's get back to base first.
Milestone reached. Fix-It pioneers can now make their own power generation systems for maximum efficiency with the gift of modularity. Several buildings have been added to the build gun for the pioneer to use.
It's my favorite. Well, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, look at that. These were capped at 200 before we went out and built that next coal power plant. It's gone down to 183. What I probably need to do to refill that is I need to go out and just hunt up a whole bunch more greenery. And I'm in North Forest, I'm surrounded by it. I just don't like to. I like green. But I also need to power a factory off it. And of course, if I was doing this as a vanilla playthrough, no mods at all these flower petals would be useless. They'd either be taking up space or going into the awesome sink because they don't do anything. At least with a mod, I can get some use out of them. In this case, additional biomass, which I really kind of need right now, because I don't like chopping down the forest. Now you get somebody like Azure in here who's just like, sand. Just turn everything to sand. I don't like sand. It's coarse. It's rough. I'm making a prequel meme right now. This is a joke nobody's gonna get unless they're into prequel memes. And most of the North Forest, of course, is flowers. You'd think it'd be trees or leaves, but no. The greatest majority of what's in North Forest, in terms of raw resources you can pick up off the ground, is flowers. If you don't have a use for flowers, I mean, they just go straight into the awesome sink. Mark III belt. The wood produces 300 a minute. The Mark III belt is 270. The Mark III belt can't even make this thing go at full speed. It just sits there, clogged most of the time in the output. See, the flower petals aren't even, as energy efficient as wood. They're 75, which is like Mark II belt. But leaves? Mark I belt, that's 60 a minute. And these need to be at least Mark II belts because they process at 120 a minute. Making it more efficient. It's the output, 60 a minute. So yeah, Mark I belts. But 60 a minute times 3, it's 180. Really, that's a Mark III belt right there. the manifold distributing more efficiently. All right. I gather it's my job. I'm good at my job. Yes, you are. But unfortunately, you work on Fridays when me and Kat stream that. All right. It's 6 o'clock, or just about. I need to stop and get some dinner. So, we're gonna go say hi to Cody. More furry VTubers. Everybody say hi. Everybody be nice to Cody. Cody is nice people. And have a good night. Self-care. Take care of yourself. And I hope see you Friday.